George Anthony DeVolder Santos. Has anyone else ever managed to do so much in such a short amount of time?
No.
At this point, it really seems like we've just always known him. He's always been around. But the name George Santos had never even crossed our minds before he was successfully elected to Congress in late 2022. And to be honest, we didn't really know who he was until a few months later, in January of 2023, when he stepped into that role, only to then be asked to resign by members of his own party within the first 2 weeks because it was revealed that Santos had told a few little lies about his educational background as well as his professional background, and also lied about his finances, among many other things.
Whomst among us?
George Santos refused to step down. He made it clear that the people did elect him and he would serve the people. And ever since that day in January, just over a year and a half ago, he has served, all right. Going from relative nobody to infamous political star making front page news for months to OnlyFans model, back to being a relative nobody. It has been quite a ride for George Anthony DeVolder Santos, and it looks like another chapter has finally come to an end.
Yeah, can you guess which chapter it is? Is it the one where he's not a convicted felon? So on Monday this week, George Santos pleaded guilty to multiple charges for which he could likely face anywhere from 2 years to 22 years in prison for his crimes. We could go over his entire timeline in detail, but we've done so many episodes on this guy that we're just gonna give you a simple, quick rundown of the George Santos saga. Sorry if we missed anything. It would be next to impossible to list every single lie or scandal. This is going to be made into at least one feature-length documentary and or narrative film.
Oh, it's going to be a 20-episode season of Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix will be able to stretch this one to the full 20, more than just the standard 10.
Yeah. Netflix, they see a story that is an hour long and they say, no, we can make that into a 10-hour series. They see this and they're like, baby, we've got a lifetime of
years of content. So here you go. Despite holding contradictory political beliefs, Santos performed as a drag queen under the name Kitara Ravache back in Brazil. He claimed to have worked for Goldman Sachs and Citigroup as a successful Wall Street investor. Not true. He claimed he was Jewish. Nope. Later clarifying that he was simply Jewish. He said his mom survived the 9/11 attacks, but died a few years later as a result of exposure from that day. His mom wasn't even in the country on 9/11, so nope.
Yeah, and that lie was doubled down because it
no,
was originally...
silly, I didn't say she died on 9/11. I said she died from 9/11.
Yeah, that's the clarification. Everyone, at first he pitched it as though his mom was in the towers.
Yeah.
Then it was cancer because of the dust and particles from that day.
But that was a lie too.
She wasn't even in the country.
He claims that he had employees die at the Pulse nightclub attack. He stole puppies from the Amish and money from a veteran using the same fake charity. He announced a re-election bid shortly after the House Ethics Committee announced an investigation into his 2022 campaign. And he was charged with 13 federal counts in May of last year.
Yeah.
So,
now, those initial,
a lot of things in a short period of time.
Those initial charges included wire fraud, money laundering, and theft of public funds, among others, and George Santos was arrested shortly after they were filed. He was released after posting a $500,000 bond and pleading not guilty, claiming at the time that the whole thing was just one giant witch hunt.
It's a witch hunt.
And that actually, he's relieved that these charges against him were filed because now he can finally defend himself.
Set the record straight.
Well,
or set the record gay. I don't know how they say it.
That was May or so of last year. And fast forward a few months, those 13 federal counts, they were turned into 23 federal counts a few months later when investigators added a few things like falsifying records, obstruction of justice, device fraud, and, this one, conspiracy to commit offenses against the United States of America.
Okay, let's calm down.
So everything moved pretty quickly after the superseding indictment was released. Santos dropped his re-election bid, made history as one of the only people in history to be forcefully removed from Congress, and then joined OnlyFans amidst what appears to have been a 2-month meltdown following his expulsion from the House of Representatives. Oh, and then he made an appearance at the State of the Union, because for some reason, despite all of this, people who were members of Congress can just, I guess, show up whenever.
Nothing in the rule book says you can't come back for the State of the Union, even if you were expelled like a month ago.
Yeah.
He also used that to launch his comeback tour, which the Republicans...
fizzled very quickly.
Yeah, it didn't work out. He was going to try to run for Congress again, but no.
Yeah, he was like changing districts or...
Changing districts, changing parties, really not getting any traction with any of it, to the shock of no one except George Santos.
Yeah.
But since all that, it's been fairly quiet on the George Santos front, and he only popped up from time to time because he shoved his way into the conversation by claiming to have dirt on politicians. Well, we finally got one of the final...
Well.
we got an update for old George Santos because he has now pleaded guilty to multiple charges. Here is the Washington Post with more on this guilty plea. Republican George Santos, whose brief political career was marked by a slew of lies and embellishments before he was expelled from Congress, pleaded guilty Monday to federal charges of aggravated identity theft and wire fraud. Santos admitted to defrauding donors to his 2022 campaign by taking their money for his personal use and charging thousands of dollars on their credit cards without authorization, among other charges. Sentencing guidelines indicate that Santos could face more than 6 years in prison. U.S. District Judge Joanna Sabert said during an afternoon court hearing. She set a sentencing date of February 7th. Oh, so he's got some time.
He does have some time. There are certainly capers that will be done in between now and then.
Yeah.
Either that or this actually scares him into submission, but I doubt it.
I don't know.
I think we're about to see what a desperate man can do.
If I'm George Santos and I'm potentially getting locked up for a long time, I'm going to make the most of my time outside.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to do exactly, but I'm
Show
going to do
hole
something.
on OnlyFans finally?
No, I don't think he would do that.
Because us big George Santos heads, we have been waiting for the first sign of any kind of sexual organs in the pictures, and so far there just haven't been any.
Speak for yourself on that. I have not been curious about any of that, personally.
It's just so disappointing that he's not using the platform for what it's made to be used for. I'm asking for a refund. Anyways, as part of his agreement, he pleaded guilty on 2 counts, wire fraud and identity theft, and prosecutors said they would ask the judge to dismiss the remaining 21 counts at his sentencing. He admitted in court to wrongfully claiming unemployment benefits for nearly a year and making false statements to Congress on his required disclosure statements, in which he said he had millions of dollars in fabricated assets. I understand that my actions have betrayed my supporters and constituents, Santos said during the court hearing, his voice emotional. I am committed to making amends and learning from this experience. Santos also apologized in a news conference outside the courthouse after he pleaded guilty. I allowed ambition to cloud my judgment, he said. He had a lot of ambition for a very long time. I allowed ambition to cloud my judgment, he said, adding that residents of his Queens and Long Island district had trusted me to represent you with honor and to uphold the values that are essential to our democracy. And in that, I failed you.
Wait, so he said did he create an OnlyFans for Qatar? I thought that was a cameo.
Was that a cameo one?
Yeah.
Ah, okay, so that would explain things. Well, I guess I can keep funding the OnlyFans then. Thank you, Eliot, for clearing that up.
Yeah, it was, I don't think, well, maybe, I don't know, I haven't checked.
Yeah.
I'm not on there hitting refresh the way you
Where do you think I'm learning all these cool new words, like Riz?
OnlyFans.
On the George Santos app, inspired by the Jeremy Renner app.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got all my celebrities in one place.
Maybe he'll start an app.
Yeah. The article also mentions that Santos will have to repay over $300,000 to his fraud victims, as well as giving the government a $24,000 check for his ill-gotten unemployment benefits.
Not a bad deal.
I don't know if he's going to be able to come up with that money unless he's creating more victims in doing so, but whatever works. Because now he really needs $324,000.
Yeah, I don't think there's any legitimate way that's ever going to happen. I don't think this man has ever earned $1, honestly, in his life.
Maybe not. Although, the Qatari Rivage cameos, they might be something special. You don't know.
Yeah.
And that would be technically an ethically good way for him to make money. It's a character he created.
Gonna need to make a lot of cameos.
Yeah. It's time to show whole.
And they're already so expensive. He was charging like $700 for a Katara cameo.
Yeah.
That's like 30 seconds. I don't think a lot of people have the budget for that, especially in this economy.
Well, he has to charge that much. He probably did the math and he's like, okay, how many requests am I getting versus how much I owe all of my fraud victims and the U.S. government?
Yeah.
It's going to be pricey to get a cameo from old Rivage.
Yeah. Anyway, the Associated Press, they added a bit more to the story. U.S. Attorney Breon Peace said Santos, in pleading guilty, told the truth after years of telling lies. And that truth is he is a criminal, Peace said. Santos was indicted last year on felony charges. He stole from political donors, used campaign contributions to pay for personal expenses, lied to Congress about his wealth, and collected unemployment benefits while working. Additionally, Santos also admitted to a litany of other crimes for which the court will hold him accountable at sentencing, Peace said. Among them, stealing multiple people's credit card numbers and charging them for his campaign, tricking donors into giving money to a bogus nonprofit, and using the cash to buy designer clothes and fabricating his personal wealth in a financial disclosure report to Congress.
They also tacked on some news about another huge loss for Santos from another completely separate legal issue. Separately Monday, Manhattan federal judge Denise Cote tossed out Santos' lawsuit alleging that Jimmy Kimmel, ABC, and Disney committed copyright infringement and unjustly enriched themselves by using videos he made on the Cameo app for a segment on Kimmel's late-night talk show. Cote said it was clear Kimmel used the clips for criticism and commentary, which is fair use. Well, that's nice. That sets a great precedent for us and other news shows. Just kidding, because apparently you have to have a legal team the size of ABC and Disney's just to argue that showing certain clips is fair use.
Yeah, we don't. Not yet. But speaking of people we don't like, who may be going away for a little while, bye-bye. It really looks like Alex Jones might be considering a move to Russia, which would be very funny because, I don't know, I'm not really sure Russia is exactly swinging its doors open to just dudes from America with anger issues and gun fetishes for no reason.
Yeah, there has to be intention
something
behind
in it
this,
for them. And despite a bunch of these conspiracy nuts thinking that they would live happily ever after with their trad wives in Russia, anyone dumb enough to move there right now is basically signing up to be cannon fodder in Putin's war on Ukraine. I mean, I don't think they're going to send Alex Jones to the front lines.
No.
They just don't have the MREs for a boy that big.
No, but it is very convenient that Alex Jones, with the audience he has, is posting essentially marketing for a bunch of people to please move to Russia right now.
Then we've seen like a few examples of people actually doing this, and
they never turn out
They're
good.
always like, wait, this sucks. This place fucking sucks.
Only Steven Seagal.
Why did no one tell me that? Yeah, Steven Seagal and Gerard Depardieu, who I think he was the original. He moved there for like tax purposes because he owed like the French government a bunch of like money. He's like, fuck it, I'll move to Russia. Steven Seagal, I think that was more just he became an object of ridicule in the United States, whereas in Russia he's still considered cool.
Yeah.
So
and he's friends with Putin, so he a lot of
they get to do martial arts together, like just dozens of foot soldiers coming at them, and they're just swatting them away. So
like
just
nothing.
no effort.
They're the strongest men in the world.
Yeah, but it's Russia. There's a war.
Yeah,
There's a war that Russia is doing right now, and it appears to be not going so well for them. So they're getting Alex Jones, I guess, to convince a bunch of his listeners that it's a great idea, actually. Head over and apply for citizenship in Russia right now. The door is wide open for you.
Yeah.
Here is Alex Jones in his own words.
Breaking. Putin just dropped a bombshell decree inviting people from across the globe who are fed up with the globalist neoliberal nightmare to seek sanctuary in traditional Russia. This new decree blows the lid off the establishment's agenda, letting freedom-loving folks bypass the usual bureaucratic nonsense like language tests or history exams. If you're ready to reject the insane policies of your home countries that push these destructive, anti-human, neoliberal agendas, Russia is rolling out the red carpet. The Russian government is about to compile a list of countries poisoning minds with these twisted ideals, and the foreign ministry is gearing up to issue visas to true patriots as soon as September. It's time to stand up for spiritual and moral values.
So interesting.
True patriots.
Free, open immigration for me, but not for thee. Like, not even having to learn like the language or know anything about Russian history and culture. That is already way more open than anyone in the Democratic Party, for example, has ever proposed about our own border. But okay. Yeah, open borders are cool when it works out for me and I'm looking for some place that isn't woke.
Yeah. Anyways, Jones then links to a press release literally put out by a Russian government-backed news agency with the subject line, Russia offers safe haven for people trying to escape Western liberal ideals.
I love this. I think this is good. They should all go there.
I mean, they're
Please
rolling
go
out the
there.
red carpet. Do you want to feel like a VIP, or do you want to keep living here where you fill up your $150,000 truck and then complain about the economy?
Hey, here's the thing. Gas, very cheap over in Russia.
That's right. And they'll even fly your giant truck over there for you, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe. Mm-hmm. They'll certainly fly a Cybertruck to.
Oh, the guy that put the gun in the back of it?
Yeah, there's a whole. We'll maybe talk about this more, but yeah, there is a Cybertruck in Chechnya that is apparently owned by the leader of Chechnya, and no one is. People are very curious how the fuck it got there because international sanctions would make such a
deal very illegal.
Difficult and illegal. Yeah.
Yeah, who's to say how that Cybertruck got there, especially with that beautiful custom machine gun in the back.
Yeah. They should send that out in the war. I'm sure it's going to do great and not just break down the second they hit some mud.
Yeah. Oh, it turns out everyone just pulled all of our siding off and exposed the rest of the truck. Oh!
But Alex Jones, he would later tweet that personally, well, he would never leave this country. But everyone else should, apparently.
Yeah.
He said in one exchange, I will never abandon ship. But for Christian families across the world having their children kidnapped by the leftist death cult, it's the only option. Do it, do it.
The only option.
I mean, listen, all we can say is if you are brainwashed enough to think that your rights as a Christian are somehow being infringed upon here in America, they're not. And you think a better, less authoritarian life is possible in Russia, it's not. And you sign up assuming that you're going to be welcomed and treated like a king, nope. Only to then be thrown into the Russian military's meat grinder? Well, that's on you, buddy.
Yeah, sorry, that's going to be a you problem.
But we suggest against it. And hope that maybe you're beginning to realize that people like Alex Jones don't have your best interests in mind.
Everyone should go do this. Not me, though. Not me. I would never abandon ship.
I could never leave America, but you should leave. You should move to Russia.
Everyone should leave right now. All right, we do have more news for you in just a second, including Donald Trump accepting a fake endorsement from an AI-created pop star. First, though, we do have to take a second to thank today's sponsor, Shopify. You probably already know them. You probably already love them. It is Shopify, the best platform for shopping, hosting your own business, and keeping track of all your shipments in one place. Now, there's a ton of amazing duos out there in the world. We're a perfect example, but the best duo, of course, is Shopify and you. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your own online shop stage, to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit 1 million orders stage, Shopify is there to help you grow.
Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell everywhere. From their all-in-one e-commerce platform to their in-person POS system, wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. Shopify helps you turn browsers into buyers with the internet's best converting checkout, up to 36% better compared to other leading commerce platforms. No matter how big you want to grow, Shopify gives you everything you need to take control and take your business to the next level. We love Shopify's simple and easy to use app because it keeps track of all of your online shipments. You can even connect other platforms so that your tracking's all in one place.
Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the US. And Shopify is the global force behind Allbirds, Rothy's, and Brooklinen, and millions of other entrepreneurs of every size across 175 countries. Plus, Shopify's extensive help resources are there to support your success every step of the way. Because businesses that grow, grow with Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/itdaily, all lowercase or link down below. Go to shopify.com/itdaily now to grow your business no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/itdaily.
But moving on, because earlier this week, Trump was able to finally nail down a massive celebrity endorsement. And it's one that he's been hoping would come through for a very long time. Taylor Swift has endorsed former President Donald J. Trump in this year's election.
That's right.
This is obviously huge news. Why isn't there a ton of coverage? Is the liberal media up to their same old tricks?
They're avoiding it. They don't want this to get out because then they know they'll lose the election. Because Taylor Swift, it's a big voice. She can move a lot of votes.
Yeah. Or maybe some videos of Taylor on the phone with Trump and his team delivering the good news, at least show the pictures.
Yeah.
I mean, this is huge.
Yeah. Why aren't they showing this?
But that's because despite accepting Taylor Swift's endorsement, she did not endorse him and has not made any public endorsement this election season and is on tour in the UK or something.
Yeah.
Trump simply saw some AI-generated graphics that looked like campaign posters featuring Swift endorsing Trump, and he decided to share them with no indication that they were fabricated, and gladly accepted the fake endorsement. Very cool, sir. Definitely a great idea to piss off the Swifties. They take these kinds of things very well, very sanely. You know, forgive
They're
and
going
forget.
to approach it from the most level-headed position possible. In his post on Truth Social, he's seen saying, "I accept," over AI photos where women are wearing Swifties for Trump shirts, including a headline that reads, "Swifties turning to Trump after ISIS foiled Taylor Swift concert," and another where Taylor Swift is dressed up as Uncle Sam and saying, "Taylor wants you to vote for Donald Trump."
I don't think this is going to go well for you, buddy.
Here's The Verge with more. Former President Donald Trump posted what appeared to be a series of AI-generated images over the weekend to drum up support for his presidential candidacy, including a false endorsement from pop star Taylor Swift. The posts show how Trump might wield generative AI in a way that confounds attempts to police AI-created election disinformation, thanks in part to long-standing legal precedent allowing candidates to lie in political ads. They arrive on the heels of Trump falsely accusing his opponent, Vice President Kamala Harris, of using AI to generate a rally crowd.
Trump's posts likely wouldn't be covered by a growing list of state laws against election deepfakes, says Robert Weissman, co-president of Public Citizen. While roughly 20 states have enacted regulations around the use of AI-generated false images in elections, they typically ban depictions of someone doing or saying something in a convincing way. So not just that it's a well-done deepfake or well-done generative AI application, but it actually has to be plausible, Weissman said.
Yeah, it's funny that they're like, this is so
This would never
outrageous.
happen, so I'm afraid it doesn't violate
Well,
any laws.
any judge would say,
Yeah.
well, that's obviously not true. Taylor Swift would never endorse Donald Trump.
Meanwhile, in terms of election disinformation, there are no federal restrictions on the use of deepfakes, Weissman says, noting the exception of the Federal Communications Commission's ban on robocalls that use AI-generated voices. Still, Weissman suggested, Swift might have a claim for the use of her likeness to falsely issue an endorsement, perhaps under California's right of publicity, protecting the use of a person's likeness. The funniest outcome of this is that she was never going to endorse a candidate in this cycle, but now, because of this, she is forced to endorse Kamala Harris just to like set the record straight.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine she is happy about this at all, and her fans,
Yeah.
oh, not happy.
Yeah. Would seem like a bad step for him to take, but, you know, it seems like he's either really desperate or intentionally trying to tank his campaign. I haven't figured out which yet, but he's definitely not happy.
Yeah.
Also, update, we are still getting close to our subscriber goal, but Eliot, you can't shave your beard anymore. I'm sorry, you can't do it because Mike Lindell is now, well, currently he's at the DNC.
Yeah, with
Doing-
Rudy with like a tiny camera.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're up to.
Well, what they're up to, Eliot, is, well, they don't have a sub goal, but they do have a donation goal, and Mike Lindell is going to shave his mustache if they reach that goal.
Holy shit.
So I need you to stop acting like Mike Lindell and keep your beard forever.
Well, that's completely different. That's a mustache and a donation goal. This is a beard and a sub goal.
I don't think you understand how badly I don't want you to shave that beard.
It's so itchy. It's been so hot this summer.
Yeah, summer's almost over.
It's never going to end, though. Climate change.
Also, you have to have like a date. You can't have like the problem that I've run into where I just put a goal with no date. Because that way, if we don't hit it in time, you don't have to shave your beard. But then maybe we still get there.
No, basically, like, I'm going to shave my beard. It's just you decide how soon that happens.
All right, that's it for today. We will be back soon with some coverage of the DNC, and which oddly, like the DNC stuff, it's all been pretty kind of boring that you would expect, except for two things. One, the protests that the Republicans have been talking about for weeks now that have failed to materialize.
Yeah, it's
At
been
least in the way that, like-
it's been pretty chill. There's been like I guess a few like outbursts on the floor, but like it's and there's definitely been protests outside the
Yeah, yeah,
convention, but like it hasn't been riots. They've been
It hasn't
saying
been
like
chaos.
Yeah, they've
Yeah,
been painting it as like, oh, Chicago's going to descend into anarchy, but no, it's all been pretty fucking civilized, I would say.
Yeah.
And they
and-
even have like the uncommitted movement within the convention like has their own like breakout rooms and stuff. So like
And then the rest is, like we pointed out, Mike Lindell, Rudy Giuliani, and for some reason Charlie Kirk and Jack
Prilosec.
Just running around trying to trick people into saying things on camera, and so far failing incredibly at it.
Yeah, they're not good at this.
Yeah.
They're bad.
But we'll be back with some coverage of that, as well as some tech news, so stay tuned. In the meantime,
What would Mike Lindell look like without a mustache? That's crazy.
that's a question that I don't want answered, much like the question of what Eliot currently looks like without a beard. I don't want that question answered. That's right.
We'll see.
Don't subscribe to the channel, but do like the video. Click the like button. Click the like button right now. Do it. Do it instead of subscribing. And also watch our previous videos over here. There's good stuff in there.
Smash that unsubscribe button.
Don't unsubscribe. Just keep us at 299,000 forever. Thank you so much. We'll be back soon. Other videos are up here now. See you soon for some tech news.
Bye-bye.
Bye.